Mario is one of, if not the most recognizable video game character in existence. We all know him, and we all love him. From the very first jump, players both hardcore and casual have been enthralled by Nintendo's mascot. Mario Mania was inescapable throughout the late 80s, with the plumber's face being plastered across every appliance, collectible, and knickknack you could think of. That immense love and fame led to him branching out into other mediums, including comics, manga, cartoons, and movies. For a while, kids lived in a delightful bubble until the 1993 live-action movie brought it all to a screeching halt. However, Nintendo's partnership with Illumination for a 2023 animated feature has shown the company is ready to begin again. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be taking a walk down memory lane to showcase Super Mario Bros. Adaptations then versus now.
Disgusting mammals.
Despite how well known he is now, Mario's debut wasn't as grand as you might think. In fact, he didn't even have a name at that point. 1981's Donkey Kong took every arcade by storm, but its hero was simply known as Jumpman. As apt as the name was, we're grateful Nintendo decided to change it. The character was famously named after Mario Segale, the landlord of the building Nintendo was renting during development of its future arcade hit. Donkey Kong received a couple of sequels as well as one of gaming's first spin-offs in 1983's Mario Bros. Such it was that when he debuted in animated form, players were all in on the character. The success of Donkey Kong earned Nintendo a lot of licensing and marketing opportunities. The first time fans got to see Mario in a different medium was actually in cereal commercials for the game.
Kids, you want to help get Donkey Kong?
This also marked the first use of Mario's "Here we go" catchphrase that would be heard in many future appearances.
I'm gonna jump, you're gonna crunch. Here we go.
As the empire continued to grow rapidly, the next logical step was cartoons. The mascot entered the realm of TV through CBS's Saturday Supercade, an animated variety show with segments based on different arcade releases. Based on the original game and its sequel, 1982's Donkey Kong Jr., it's interesting to look back on since many well-known elements of the franchise, like the Mushroom Kingdom, didn't exist yet. It showed Mario, voiced by Optimus Prime himself, Peter Cullen, as the owner of a circus. With Pauline at his side, he would chase the escaped Donkey Kong through various misadventures. Donkey Kong was vital to Nintendo's growth, yet the company's legacy was secured when it moved into the home console space. The Famicom, or the Nintendo Entertainment System as it would be known outside of Japan, saved the home video game market from the brink of death. The crash of '83 had left it in shambles, but the console had the benefit of Super Mario Bros., a brand new experience and one of the most important games ever released. With the industry saved, Nintendo wasted no time producing adaptations of its groundbreaking release. First, it was adapted into manga form through a one-shot of the same name written and illustrated by Yukio Sawada. Then it was turned into an anime film, 1986's Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. With a runtime of only an hour, and with no release outside of Japan, there are probably many Mario fans unaware of the adaptation's existence. It follows Mario and Luigi after they're transported from their world to the Mushroom Kingdom, where an invading Bowser has transformed it through magic and plans to marry a kidnapped Peach. They must gather 3 items, fittingly a mushroom, a flower, and a star, in order to defeat the villain. All the while, they're sidetracked and led into traps by King Koopa's minions. While the plot is pretty simple, it made some interesting additions and changes to the source material. Luigi is completely obsessed with money, and the Toads are all female. The biggest change is the inclusion of Kinoko, the strange old man who summons the brothers, and Kibidango, a blue dog that travels with them. By the end, it's revealed the dog is actually a prince from the neighboring Flower Kingdom, who was transformed by Bowser's magic. He's also Peach's destined true love. Sorry, Mario.
Mario! Luigi! Genki de na!
As more games starring Mario were released, so too did we get more adaptations. 1989 was a major year of output. Nintendo took another stab at anime with the Amada anime series. 3 short films inspired by folklore, but which starred Mario characters. On the other side of the globe, Nintendo of America partnered with DiC Entertainment for multiple TV shows. Quite possibly the most famous show to star Mario, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, also debuted in 1989. The series was a mix of animation and live action. Cartoon Adventures adapted elements from the first 2 games, while live action segments where Mario and Luigi were played by Lou Albano and Danny Wells respectively featured guest stars in the Plumbers Brooklyn-based workshop. Needless to say, kids were hooked on the brothers. Although the Super Show is still fondly remembered by certain fans, other adaptations haven't stood the test of time quite as well. King Koopa's Cool Cartoons featured a studio audience of kids reacting to the antics of a live-action Bowser, with some old cartoons in the public domain. However, its poor reception and quick cancellation have made it all but impossible to find today. Although Mario led the charge, Nintendo and DiC worked on bringing other characters to TV screens. The Legend of Zelda received its own short-lived series, airing alongside the Super Show.
Nice job, hero.
Hey, excuse me, princess.
One show that lasted a bit longer was Captain N, the Game Master, based on comics published within Nintendo Power magazine. The show chronicled the adventures of Kevin Keene, a boy sucked into the world of video games where he would help Nintendo heroes defeat their villains. However, many staff members were unfamiliar with the games they were adapting. This is extremely obvious considering the main villain, Metroid's Mother Brain, looks and sounds like this.
Why should that sniffing little do-gooder be worshiped like that instead of me?
Although Mario didn't appear in the series, it borrowed sound effects and other elements from his games and used Donkey Kong as one of the villains. Nintendo closed out 1989 with 2 huge marketing stunts for Mario. The first was Universal's family comedy The Wizard, which included egregious product placement and climaxed with a Super Mario Bros. 3 reveal at a gaming competition.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Right before the 90s arrived, it partnered with ABC to produce a Mario Ice Capades special. It starred Christopher Hewitt as Bowser, as well as Alyssa Milano and Jason Bateman delivering performances they'd probably rather forget about.
First, you've never been to the Ice Capades, and now you've never played video games? It doesn't matter. You've never played video games until you played video games with the Video Prince.
Nintendo took no chances slowing down in 1990. It partnered with Valiant Comics for the Nintendo Comics System, which for a couple of years released print adventures for many characters, as well as Mario. In Japan, players had more options. Kodansha began publishing Super Mario manga in 1988, and the partnership would last a decade. Meanwhile, Yukio Sawada, who had adapted the original games, began working on Super Mario Kun in 1990, a series that is still going strong in 2023. Nintendo's partnership with DiC also continued to thrive. It produced a new animated series based on Super Mario Bros. 3. We were also given Club Mario, which repackaged animated segments from the Super Show with new live-action scenes aimed at teens. In the UK, fans could watch players compete by gaming during the Super Mario Challenge, which also gave viewers tips on the games.
But now that we're well into round 2 of the Super Mario Challenge, we play the brand spanking new Super Mario 3.
In 1991, DiC would adapt its final Mario game, the then brand new Super Mario World, into an animated series. In Japan, more manga adaptations would be published throughout the decade, such as the similarly long-running Forkoma Manga Kingdom series from Futabasha. However, little did anyone know that something detrimental to Mario's public image was headed our way.
If you want to end this right now and you feel bad about that, but you want to talk to somebody about it, you can call me.
Mario had conquered comics. He had trounced the world of cartoons. Next was becoming the first video game star to receive a live-action adaptation. Unfortunately for Nintendo, 1993's Super Mario Bros. Is widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made, let alone one based on a video game. There are a great many reasons why it didn't work. Disney, which distributed the movie through its Buena Vista Pictures label, forced significant rewrites just weeks before shooting began. A weirdly adult narrative meshed horribly with the elements adapted from the games, and to cap it all off, it was directed by a relatively inexperienced husband-wife duo who didn't have the expertise to pull off this big of a production. multiple people who worked on the film have spoken out about how horrible it was. This includes the late Bob Hoskins, who played Mario and admitted that he and co-star John Leguizamo would get drunk in between scenes to make it through the nightmare. A cheesy cartoon is one thing, but an awful movie is quite another. Not only was the movie a financial and critical bomb, but it made Nintendo incredibly guarded about any further adaptations of Mario characters. Sure, manga and comics kept going, but as far as TV and film went, the landscape was pretty barren with a few exceptions. Captain N and the Video Game Masters and Mario All-Stars were released by DiC, but both were compilations of the studio's previous Nintendo work. In other words, reruns. In 1996, a Donkey Kong Country show premiered in France, and 2 years later in the US. But neither its early 3D animation nor its voice acting have aged particularly well.
We're happy. Everybody's happy. No more bad luck. We hope.
For a time, adaptations of other Nintendo IPs were still greenlit, with anime proving itself the best format choice. A 2-part Fire Emblem anime released in 1996, which surprisingly got an English dub despite the games being Japan only at that point. Kirby Right Back At Ya ran for 4 seasons in the early 2000s in both Japan and North America. F-Zero GP Legend wasn't as popular. Though the series finished in 2004, the English dub only lasted 15 episodes before it was cancelled. Even Animal Crossing got an anime movie in 2006, though it, of course, didn't release outside of Japan. Naturally, Pokémon is the anomaly that blew everything else out of the water, although it quickly became a media empire that Nintendo is only partially responsible for.
Destined to be packed with non-stop action, millions of laughs, heart-pounding perils, and endless excitement. Together, they'll encounter fantastic friends.
Nintendo seemed willing to greenlight anime adaptations, at least for a while, but everything else was a no-go. As more and more IPs fell victim to the video game movie curse, the company grew wary of taking any of their franchises further. Rights to a live-action Metroid bounced around in the early 2000s, and Imagi Animation pitched a Zelda movie to Nintendo in 2007. Nothing came of either. Meanwhile, something strange was beginning to happen. The 1993 movie was gaining a cult following. In fact, it received a fan-made sequel comic in 2013 that one of the movie's writers, Parker Bennett, helped outline. Other fans took it upon themselves to restore an extended cut in 2021. Even with some people coming around on the movie, that doesn't mean Nintendo did. It allowed Bowser to cameo in Disney's Love Letter to Arcades, 2012's Wreck-It Ralph, and Donkey Kong to cameo in 2015's Pixels. However, it remained untrusting of most studios. The hack of Sony Pictures in 2014 revealed that Sony had been trying to secure rights to a Mario movie for years, but nothing came of it. On the TV side, 2015 saw the abrupt cancellation of 2 tie-in shows. One was a Zelda series in development at Netflix, while the other was a claymation series for Star Fox at College Humor. Both were canceled when Netflix leaked the former. We wouldn't get another Hollywood adaptation of a Nintendo franchise until 2019's Detective Pikachu. But by that point, plans for Mario's big screen future had already been set in motion.
Can't help you there, kid. Like I said, I have amnesia. Can't remember a darn thing.
Okay, so you're a talking Pikachu with no memories who's addicted to caffeine.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
When Nintendo decided to go into the theme park business, it partnered with Universal Parks in Japan. Through this partnership, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto met Chris Meledandri, founder of Universal's Illumination Entertainment. The filmmaker ingratiated himself to Miyamoto, and by 2017, reports of a feature-length animated film were beginning to spread. That's not to say that Nintendo completely trusted the studio. Nintendo owns the rights to the movie, Miyamoto has kept a close eye on things as producer, and longtime series composer Koji Kondo is working with Brian Tyler on the score. With how poorly things turned out the first time, we can't blame their more hands-on approach. Nintendo unveiled the voice cast for the Super Mario Bros. Movie in September of 2021. The announcement of Chris Pratt as Mario drew immediate unease from many fans. However, others like Jack Black as Bowser and Charlie Day as Luigi have been more warmly received. As trailers have released, fans have delighted in seeing the results of having Nintendo play an active role in production. We've gotten references to more obscure elements, like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show theme song, and we've seen more well-known ones, like Mario Kart's Rainbow Road, promising a celebration of all things Mario. The movie releases on April 5th, 2023, but Nintendo is already thinking about the future. Illumination is reportedly developing a Donkey Kong spin-off for Seth Rogen, while Charlie Day has stated he wants to star in Luigi's Mansion. Who knows? Maybe Zelda and Metroid aren't that far off.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.